Psychotic episodes, but only in men, has been linked to an annoying cat parasite. And you can see it here. It's in the eye that we have here on the right. And I'll have a closer image for you to see it. Cats having parasites in their eyes. The ubiquitous parasite, estimated to infect millions of people around the world, has been linked with schizophrenia. Can you imagine? And a host of neurological disorders, but the evidence has not always been clear. That's shocking. It's just astonishing. While there are a number of studies linking this mind-altering parasite Toxoplasma gondii with altered behavior or weird patterns in human activity, there's also data debunking the association of this. Now, a new study led by first author and psychiatry resident Vincent Paquin from McGill University, Montreal, Canada, could help to explain this parasitic paradox while going some way to identifying where the apparent dangers of T. gondii may actually lie. In addition to contaminated food or water, including undercooked meat, the protozoan parasite T. gondii can be transmitted to humans through exposure to feces from an infected domestic cat, with a study in 1995 first observing a link between cat ownership in childhood and risk of mental illness later developing in adulthood. However, other studies since have failed to replicate the cat ownership link, suggesting there might be more to the association than simply owning a cat. Domestic cats generally become infected with the parasite by feeding on rodents and will only be contagious during the days or weeks that follow, Paquin and his co-authors write in their new paper. Hence, specifying whether the cat was known to hunt rodents might provide a better proxy for a probable exposure to T. gondii compared to cat ownership alone. In other words, as Paquin explains, cats themselves do not guarantee parasitic exposure, but rodent hunting cats, that is, cats that are allowed outside as opposed to indoor-only pets, would probably be more likely to come into contact with T. gondii in the outdoor environment because they'll be hunting rodents. Hypothetically speaking, they might then transmit the infection to children who could go on to develop psychological issues in adulthood, as identified in some studies, potentially through the effects on the immune system. To examine this hypothetical chain of transmission, the researchers surveyed approximately 2,200 participants in Montreal, Canada, asking them questions about childhood cat ownership and measuring their frequency of psychotic experiences, alongside other questions about their personal history, such as how much they moved house during childhood, experiences with head trauma, history of smoking, and so on. In analyzing the responses, the team observed that male participants who had owned a rodent hunting cat during childhood showed an increased risk of having psychotic experiences in their adulthood. Female respondents did not have the same link. Now, I grew up in Canada. I went there for elementary and high school. High school, we mean junior and senior high. And then we moved away to New York when it was time for us to go to college. But most people in Montreal, I would say most families live in one-family homes with a generous garden. So yeah, we had a cat, and of course our cat was able to go out and hunt. Now anyway, people who owned indoor-only cats during childhood, no cat at all, did not show the same increased risk. With the team said has consistent with our hypothesis based on the life cycle of T. gondii as a putative mechanism of this association. However, other factors, he said, captured in the survey also seem to influence the respondents' risk for psychotic experience, including smoking, frequency of residential moves in childhood or adolescence, of course, and a history of head trauma, which Paquin says suggests synergistic effects of these factors beyond just parasitic infection alone. While the study has a number of limitations, including that all the data from the survey were self-reported, the team says their findings illustrate the importance of examining interactions among different kinds of environmental exposures, which may in the future help us to identify with greater accuracy where problems from T-gun-D exposure are more likely to arise. He told Medscape Medical News, these are small pieces of evidence that it's interesting to consider that there might be combinations of risk factors at play. He said, and even if the magnitude of the risk is small at the individual level, cats and T-gun-D are so present in our society that if we add up all these small potential effects, then it becomes potential public health question. The findings were reported in Journal of Psychiatric Research, and this is on Science Alert by Peter Dockrell. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.